So, time to visit the Ascalon Club. It's locked. It's locked, all right.
Hello again, Jonathan.
Sorry to disturb you again, but could you spare me a few minutes?
Of course, my dear. Always a pleasure to speak.
Concerning your...
Yes?
Are you true?
I cannot promise you anything, but yes. I am
Do you know if the epidemic has affected many people?
I confess I've been more concerned by events in the East End. The wealthy have more efficient ways of dealing with infection.
But this is no common...
That is true. I must tell my daughter to stay at home for a few days. But the girl is stubborn and fiercely independent.
Do you think we shall ever see better days? Or at least, better nights?
I know not, Jonathan. I have seen some horrid days in my...
When all of this is over, the war and the epidemic, we could leave the city for a while. Travel around Europe, you and...
Traveling is always so complicated for us poor creatures of the night. But yes, I would be glad to travel...
Will you tell me your story one day, Lady Ashbury?
One of them, perhaps. I have had so many lives, Jonathan. Eternity may not be enough to relate them all.
Goodbye, Elizabeth. It's locked.
Recognize him?
No. This one ain't on our list.
Well, that's one less anyway. It'll make McCullum happy.
That was the vampire I saw earlier. This war takes no prisoners. The West End. Never have I felt so sad to be back home.
Aubrey, I'm not sure visiting Italy is a good idea this time of the year.
I remember Sunday walks in the park. Good evening, Avery.
Mr. Jonathan? I can't believe my own eyes. Oh, it's a miracle. We all thought you were... Oh, sir, your poor...
I know, Avery. I know about my...
Miss Reed expected you to return to assist with the funeral, right up until the last minute. Where have you been, Mr. Jonathan?
How is my mother?
Not well, I'm afraid, sir. Miss Reed is very fragile since the police brought her back home.
The police?
Miss Reed was found walking in the streets. She kept saying she had spoken with her son and daughter. She's resting now.
Has she received appropriate...
I'm taking care of Miss Reed myself. Hospitals are so overwhelmed by the epidemic that they can only accept patients in...
Perhaps we could arrange a short trip. Somewhere sunny, like France.
I'm afraid Miss Reed is too frail for the moment.
What is the situation in this pub?
For a time, the West End seemed spared by the epidemic. But the situation is getting much worse.
Have you no relatives anywhere? I'll understand if you want to take a few days to see family.
Your father managed to guarantee my earnings as long as I take care of this house, sir. My sisters are dead, and...
I'm sorry I could not be here for Mary's funeral.
Your mother was strong, sir, but your support would have been appreciated. Apart from the priest and I, no one else attended your sister's funeral.
To be present at the funeral with you both was my dearest wish, Avery.
I would not dare to question your absence, Mr. Jonathan. All I can say is that we missed you a great deal during these difficult days.
Do you need medical
Thank you, but I'm all...
Tell me the truth, Avery. Do you feel forced to stay here? Would you leave this house without the arrangement made by my father?
No, sir. I have nowhere else to go. And I promised your father I'd take care of his family as long as I live.
This house is dead, Avery. There is a curse on this family. You really should consider leaving.
If only you could have been here sooner or more often. Maybe this house would not be that empty. But you're here now, sir, so my task is not over.
You have served this family extremely well, Avery. Your support during these terrible times is much appreciated.
Then I will stay. All I ask is that you take care of my own funeral if I die before the end of the epidemic. No mass grave, please, sir.
Do you really think I don't take enough care of my mother, Avery?
Yes, I do, Mr. Jonathan.
You clearly have something more to say. Speak your mind, Avery.
I know you work hard to help the sick, but what will you do once the epidemic is over?
I really don't know. I have always enjoyed seeing new horizons. Once the epidemic is over, it would be nice to leave London for a while.
I understand, Mr. Jonathan. But you have to realize that your mother needs you. Your next departure could break her.
I found an old letter written by my father and addressed to me. Do you know anything about it, Avery?
Your father wanted me to give you this letter for your 35th birthday, but you left for the war, and the letter remained in his office until tonight.
I realize now you knew my father better than I did. Do you know why he left?
No, sir. Mr. Reed was not exactly forthcoming. Perhaps this letter will give you the information you require.
Goodbye, Avery. Please.
Of course, Mr. Jonathan. But please return as soon as...
Mother. Good evening.
Jonathan! Is it you?
I'm right here, Mother.
Yes. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again.
Mary.
I know she's gone. The question is, when will she return?
Mother, do you know what's been going on in this area?
Not really. I don't go out much due to the epidemic, and when I do, I tend to get lost.
What do you mean you get lost? I hope you don't...
Of course not. When I go out, your father always comes with me, but he leaves me there sometimes, and I have trouble finding...
Tell me, Mother, how are you? All alone in this big house with only Avery to take care of you.
I'm sad most of the time. Sad that you have left me here alone. Sad that you don't tell me when you come or go.
I'm so sorry, Mother. It wasn't supposed to be like this. I was coming home. I was home. London, the Thames, and then...
What happened, Johnny?
I was attacked, Mother.
The important thing is that you finally returned home.
Have you returned to Whitechapel Cemetery since Mary...
I never want to go back to that awful place. Wait. I think I went back once. And you were there too. And Mary?
It was just a bad...
A nightmare, yes. Mary was so angry. I walked back home alone. If that kind policeman had not called Avery from the...
Do you think Avery is right? Do you...
I don't blame you. But you abandoned me, son.
I know I have failed you since I returned. I even watched you bury Mary from a distance. From now on, I will protect you. You have my...
You don't have to apologize to me, Johnny. Do you think I did not notice how much you have changed?
Have I changed that much, Mother?
You are still, and you'll always be.
Do you need anything, Mother?
I just want you to stay with me, Jonathan. Your room is ready. I asked Avery to make your bed.
I'll stay as long as I can, I promise. Do you need anything else?
Just one thing. Stop staring at me like that. As much as I love you, it breaks my heart to look at those empty...
Are you working on...
Not recently. I have trouble focusing on my subject and my...
I recently met a talented painter with an excellent technique. I wish you two could meet. I'm sure...
I'd be glad to meet her. What is her name? Is she...
She's not famous, and her name is of no importance. And yes...
The important thing is, I hope you two get along. If she ever fancies meeting your mother, I'd be glad to...
Do you need my medical...
I'm all right, son.
Why do you say Mary is visiting you, Mother? You know that's impossible.
Why should it be? Are you not standing in front of me right now? Why should...
But Mary really is dead,
Yes. And are you not dead too? Isn't your father dead? And my grandson? And my son-in-law? You're all gone. But you all still
But I'm not dead, Mother. I'm really here.
Oh, it breaks my heart to have to tell you this. But of...
Father seems to have left me some documents.
No, Johnny. But your father always loved to write...
I remember now. He used to post me these riddles, as though they were sent by a mysterious games master. I'd spend weeks trying to decipher them.
Your father was always so proud each time you found the answer.
I was proud too. How could I...
The important thing is that you remember it now.
Could Father have conceived...
I really can't say, Johnny. Perhaps you should talk with Avery about that. He was your father's confidant, more than I.
Goodbye, Mother.
Goodbye, son.
To vote is only the first step.
Exactly what that poet...
Good evening, miss.
Oh my God, no. Please, Mr. Vampyr, don't...
Wait, no. Why do you...
Don't worry, Dr. Reed. I know you wouldn't harm me.
Mother told me you were in this part of town and might drop by.
Your mother?
My name is Charlotte, sir. Charlotte Ashbury. My mother taught me long ago how to recognize the signs that betray a vampire.
I understand she also taught you how to tease and gently mock innocent young Ekons. It's a pleasure to meet. Do you need my med-
I am fine.
What do you think about-
I was raised here, and I suppose it feels like home. You grew up
Yes, I was born a few streets away.
a small world, is it not? Did you ever imagine that my mother was your...
You won't trick me twice, young lady. We both know Lady Ashbury never hunts or attacks prey at...
Come on, Doctor. Don't tell me you never thought about that possibility. Her fangs on your neck. Oh, are you blushing?
Is there something that's bothering you?
Too much selfishness and individualism for my taste. Even when there was no epidemic.
Even if that's partly true, may I remind you...
I suppose you're right. But society must reform and renew it.
What are you doing?
You mean, what do I do outside at night since I am a woman? Let me ask you a question, sir. Would you ask the same...
Actually, yes. I ask the same question to everyone who dares to go outside at night, considering...
Well, if you must know, I campaign for the right to vote for all women. Why should I wait to the age of 30 years when...
Are you a suffragette, then? Oh, you really are, Elizabeth.
All adult women have the right to vote in the US, in New Zealand, and in Australia. But women here can't vote unless they are property owners.
No need to convince me, Miss Charlotte. I have shared your opinion for a long time. Even before I met Emmeline...
Really? Oh. Now I see why my mother appreciates you so much. Too bad there aren't more men like you in the vicinity.
How the local...
People here can't wait for a wall to be built to isolate the West End.
Explosives are very dangerous, young lady. And who is this Emily?
She is my best friend, and a suffragette too. She was supposed to campaign with me tonight, but hasn't turned up.
Have you any reason to be worried?
Recently, Emily started to believe in... well, she got...
Let me guess. You spoke to her about us, didn't you? Despite your mother's warning. I think I should try to find your friend.
Oh, that would be top-notch. I can tell you where she might have gone.
Tell me about your
What do you want to know?
Who are your real parents?
Elizabeth Ashbury is my real mother. She raised...
Do you live with her?
I still spend a lot of time in my mother's mansion.
How did you meet?
First, I was an orphan in the institution for girls she manages.
Did you know she was a vampire when she picked you?
The...
What exactly?
Your name and profession, obviously. And the mystery about your...
Does it not scare you to know what I am?
Why should it? My mother is the most compassionate woman. Must I be wary of her, Dr. Reed?
Perhaps it's wise for a mortal never to totally...
That may be true for a naive girl. But I have the best teacher when it comes to getting rid of an insistent immortal.
Yep.
I believe she thinks the same about you.
Do you know why Lady Ashbury chose you?
No, I don't. Each time I ask her that question, she smiles and says it's precisely because I dare to ask.
Do you ever regret that she chose you?
Of course not. Though I often wonder if...
Your mother has refused to turn you into a vampire.
Each time we argue, Mother expresses the same fear. She wants me to remain alive and full of joy, rather than become melancholy and immortal. She claims you can't have one without the other. It's pure selfishness.
It's your mother's choice. As daughters and sons, we have to accept the decisions our parents make for us despite our own wishes.
I love my mother, and have accepted everything from her. Even that she named me Charlotte, when it was not my original name.
Does it bother you? Your mother has walked this earth for much longer than you or I.
But why shouldn't I be allowed to forge my own experience? There can't be only one righteous way to deal with it.
Why do you still hope to become a vampire
It's the immortal aspect of vampires that interests me. The world won't improve unless women take charge. I'm convinced of...
You're obviously a clever woman with a good education.
Is it not true of every high position? To change this world and make it a better place, one needs time on one's side.
Tell me, Charlotte, how do you plan to achieve eternal life?
I won't give up. You have no idea how
That's a disturbing answer, young lady. And the worst part...
There are less dangerous ways, Doctor. Instead of throwing myself under a horse like Emily Davison, I could just throw myself...
Stop playing this game at once, Charlotte. This is unworthy of you, of your mother, and of my...
I'm sorry, Dr. Reed. Please forgive me.
Goodbye, Charlotte. Give my...
She's been quite busy these last few nights. I suspect...
The Ascalon Club.
Please, sir.
The heart of
Whether you need
British
to buy something or
Vampire
not,
Society.
I'm happy to help.
Not quite as subtle as I expected. It's locked. Good evening, sir. Please forgive me for disturbing you.
I never judge a man by his title, but by his attitude. And you are not disturbing me at all. I am Calhoun Russell, and I...
Well, I must admit, it's good to receive a warm welcome for once.
Welcome, Dr. Reed.
How is the situation?
Life is good and peaceful. We're lucky to live in...
Are you not concerned about...
Oh, I'm sure the authorities would take the appropriate measure if the danger were that high.
I'm afraid the newspapers are seriously underestimating the situation.
Well, that's news then. But I can't believe that things are that bad. Are you sure you're not exaggerating a bit?
Is it not?
On the contrary, it is the perfect hour. Believe me, my friend, it is always at night that you meet the most fascinating...
But what about the epidemic? The bombs and raids?
Please, sir, this is London, England. We will prevail. And if a bomb must fall on my shop, then I'll be there to hear it falling.
So you prefer...
Oh, I also enjoy a sunny day like everybody else. But the night always has a certain je ne sais...
What can you tell me about this place?
I recently found the best steak and kidney pie in the city. I'd be glad to share the address if you want.
Finding a good restaurant?
Oh, I have many passions, but nothing brings me ecstasy like subtle and exquisite flavors from my teeth.
I must confess, I have quite...
Really? Well, I'm always happy to try new exotic meals. If you ever find an intriguing table, please.
Do you need medical...
There is no need for that, my good friend.
Do you...
Not since my...
Do you...
Not since...
Really? But you...
I'm afraid the real hedonist has to be sometimes.
London's lone gourmet.
I used that name in my early years when I was a food critic.
I may have...
Don't let any strangers come into your...
Good evening, sir. May I have your attention?
Come on, Johnny. Don't you reckon...
Clarence. Clarence Crossley. How are you?
I almost didn't recognize you, either. War does that to men, I heard. In my case, it was true, for I witnessed the...
When did you escape the war?
You know what's funny? I almost never think about the war. Not anymore. I'm involved in another kind of battle.
I know what you mean.
Of course. With the epidemic, I bet you've been busy as well. Forgive me, Johnny, I didn't want to...
What is this new...
I saw terrible things during the war. Horrors I thought I'd forget. They're here, too. They're everywhere.
How is your wife?
We've spent so much time away from each other. And so many things have happened.
But you're alive. You returned in one...
Believe me, it's not quite that simple. Unlike you, I'm not the man I used to be.
Is everything all right at home? Surely Venus was relieved to see you return from France in one piece.
Have you forgot what people are like in this part of town, Johnny? Venus fears for our family reputation. Now her husband has become the village idiot.
You need some... Good evening, miss. Can I help you? I'm a doctor. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
I am... Karina Billow. I don't need any doctor. The rats. Where are the rats?
Miss, you don't seem well at all. Are you a...
No, it's me who bites them. Tasty, juicy, disgusting rats. I can't stop eating them.
Can I help you, miss...
The rats.
What happened to you?
The rats. The answer hides in their little crunchy bones. They're...
Miss Billow, please, try to...
The voice in my head. He forces me to do so.
Tell me about the voice in your head.
Keep your mouth shut, he said. Don't ever speak about me, or I'll abandon you. Help me, please, Doctor.
Do you feel compelled to obey that voice, Miss Billow?
Yes.
What is the local news?
Shadows. Shadows hunting shadows. Whispers in the...
Tell me about yourself, Miss Billow.
Oh, I'm hungry. Need to eat.
Don't you remember who you are, miss?
I was strong, proud. I campaigned for good causes. But that was before. Before. It does not matter anymore.
I must go. Good evening.
I won't.
You need...
Support the equality between men and women. Women's right to vote is only the first step.
Do you know where you are standing right now?
In front of the Ascalon Club, I presume.
The Ascalon Club only summons or ostracizes. What is your business tonight?
I received an invitation. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Welcome to the Ascalon Club, then, Dr. Reed. Please proceed. Lord Redgrave is waiting on you upstairs. Welcome to the Ascalon, Dr. Reed.
There has been quite a battle here. I'm sure the Ascalon Club has the money to replace the furniture.
Good evening. We repel the intruders for now.
My good friends, if I may have your attention. Behold our visitor, the good Dr. Reed. Newborn of blood so pure and strong that even my friend Fergal Bansher was no match for him.
Here, here, here.
Come forward, young Ekon, for we have so much to discuss. Welcome to the Ascalon Club, Dr. Reed. I am Lord Redgrave, Earl of Bristol and chairman of this exclusive association.
Lord Redgrave.
At last we meet. I've been eager to make your acquaintance. I've heard some astounding things about you. Please accept my condolences for your loss, Dr. Reed.
Thank you, my lord. Lady Ashbury expressed...
Yes. The lady has always been a useful acquaintance, though not always...
Yes, she is. I may even say I admire her probity and her kindness. She has helped me since I was...
The centuries have taught me never to trust a woman completely, especially if she is a mortal. Too prone to emotions if you are...
My lord, do not expect me to speak ill of Lady Ashbury.
Of course not, and I praise your loyalty. Would you offer the same fidelity to the Empire?
What do you mean?
I speak of this skull plague that threatens London and the country. You have been on the front line in the East End, but the time has come to open up a second front here.
The epidemic has escaped the quarantine. You have new cases of the outbreak.
We don't...
Why are you suddenly so friendly? The last time I met one of yours, he tried to kill me.
Are you referring to Fergal? He was the most useful of servants, but he was just a servant. You, on the other hand, Doctor, proved yourself much more worthy.
You want me to find possible sources of the outbreak in the West End? Is that it?
Ah, straight to the point, like all eager newborns. We shall have time to talk about all this, Dr. Reed, but first, I should like to get to know you better.
Talk? Is that the only reason you asked me here?
Well, no. I also wanted to meet the intriguing Ekon, who made such a powerful progeny of his sister. You have not learned the name of your maker, am I correct?
No, I haven't.
Have no embarrassment, Dr. Reed. We all make mistakes. But whatever your lineage, you are definitely Ascalon material.
What do you mean?
I would like you to become a member of the Ascalon Club, and to serve me as such.
I agree to join the club.
This is good news. Good news indeed in these crucial times. Let's inform the Assembly formally, and proceed with your initiation.
My initiation?
Fear not. Nothing fancy nor dangerous. It is just that we, the members of Ascalon, believe that tradition and custom are the back... My fellow members, dear friends, please gather and welcome this Ekon as one of our own.
Is he worthy? Is his blood pure?
Well, speak, Dr. Reed, in front of the most sacred blood. The blood of our beloved William Marshall, speak now. Will you serve and protect the crown as he did?
Yes, I will.
Then, young Ekon, it is time to testify with your blood. It is time to sign the Book of Allegiance. I know it's awfully gothic and a tad pedantic, but England's traditions are the backbone of our nation. Delightful. Welcome to the Ascalon Club, Dr. Reed. Take your place among the bearers of the lance.
One of us! One of us!
That went well, did it not? It is always useful to bolster the troops' morale, especially before...
You have the makings of it.
I was, though very long ago. Well, not quite a general, but...
So why did you really want to meet?
Straight to the point again, young Ekon. All right, let's talk, you and I, Lance Sparrow.
I'm listening, my lord.
According to my spies, you have worked with Dr. Edgar Swansea on the epidemic, and your findings were quite alarming.
Do you know Edgar Swan?
Not personally, but I've been told he has some sort of immortal fetish and is a good friend of yours.
Does it?
As long as you reveal nothing of the club's inner workings, why should I forbid you engaging in conversation with...
You were spying?
Not personally. I rarely leave this building. But once he found you, Fergal kept me informed. Until you put an end to his mission.
Who was Fergal? I don't see him sipping...
Fergal Banshire was my squire of sorts. Even before becoming that magnificent beast, he was a brute. He served me well for decades.
No, I mean, what was he? He was clearly no...
No. He was a Volcod. All muscles and instinct. Quite the rare breed. Ferociously territorial. Mortals often mistake them for...
You do know I...
Yes.
Will you bear ill will towards me?
Of course not. Your victory was quite impressive and courageous. You earned my respect.
Lord Redgrave is outside almost every night coordinating our defenses.
Yes, I'm convinced the recent invasion of frenzied scowls in London is directly linked to the epidemic. This is not the Spanish flu, but something else.
I would be glad to hear more of your discoveries, Dr. Reed, but for now, my main concern is the security of London's inhabitants, both mortal and...
What do you mean?
Alarmed by the epidemic, the Guard of Prewen has started a war against us British vampires. To appease the situation, we must...
Scowls are hostile vectors of contagion. That is a fact.
I agree, Dr. Reed. Most of the new Scowls who roam the streets at night used to be good British citizens. But they must be put down nevertheless.
So, what do you...
I want you to investigate the city thoroughly. I have reason to fear there are cases of contagion in this part of town. Our absolute priority is to find and...
And how would you like me to...
By all means necessary, Dr. Reed. You are now a...
Good evening, Dr. Reed. How does it feel to be this evening's centerpiece?
I feel perfectly fine. Do I have cause?
Do not be alarmed. The Ascalon Club has a tried and tested...
May I ask who you are?
Why would you be interested?
Well, as you seem to be the only man in the room with a beating heart, you draw...
Ah. Vampire senses never cease to fascinate me.
Are you a member of...
Yes, I am. And I have been for many years. And will...
What can you tell me about it?
It's not really my place to give you such information. I am merely a mortal member, and a dying one at that.
Are you sick?
Personally, I consider my advancing years are a sickness in itself.
Are you not afraid? You are surrounded by...
Sir, it's for that very reason that I joined the club in the...
Is not the nature of this club a secret shared by...
My dear Dr. Reed, I have spent years and a fortune
So you asked for membership?
I have been a member of many clubs in many countries. But I must admit, this one is my favorite.
What can you tell me about...
I would not dare speak of our chairman without his consent.
Mr. Dawson, of Dawson and Dawson. The wealthiest man in England.
A withering London figurehead, to be precise.
Are you sick, Mr. Dawson? I am a doctor, you know.
My case is beyond the scope of traditional medicine. I have spent fortunes on the world's most competent doctors to arrive at that diagnostic conclusion.
I'm sorry to hear that, sir. Should I suppose that you're here in search of some form of...
Absolutely not. I'm here to implement my plan to save the city I was born in. To cast out the ghastly evil that has us all on our knees.
What do you know about the Guard?
I should not say this, but I admire their commitment. This is what the nation needs right now.
But they are our...
They are not mine, Dr. Reed.
Would you help them?
No. There is a time for such methods. But brute force will not be enough to fight this plague. We have to think differently.
What is the situation like?
I am sure Lord Redgrave will enlighten you more effectively than I.
Money cannot solve every problem. This mysterious epidemic is going to require more than money can buy. What is your plan, then?
Quarantine and barricades are futile. What we need is a wall. A formidable, unscalable wall to isolate the deserving from the infected masses.
But that would segregate the rich from the poor, would it not?
Our only course of action must be to save England. And to save England, we have to make sacrifices.
Are you not mistaking sacrifice for summary?
Why do you care? Are you not a vampire? Remove